So there will be no turkey buzzards harmed in the making of this series. Now, some of you might be saying, Chad, I don't know what this turkey buzzard thing that you speak of is, but let me show you the turkey buzzard. This is the turkey buzzard, or turkey buzzard. Let's put it that way. This is a hardback cambered wide margin NIV version. I've got a whole video on it here, and I love using hardback Bibles. That is my preferred method of Bible reading, and I'm still going to be reading this Bible during the day because I do the daily office at least in the morning, and I try to do it in the evening. But whenever you're doing a long reading of scripture, whatever that might look like, one of the worst things I've found that you can do, or maybe one of the best things you can do to fail at that reading, is to try to use aforementioned paper Bible. Instead, what I like to do is I like to use my tablet. So I went and I found the 30-day shred over on YouVersion, and that is what I'm using to read this. And I like it because I can do it like actual reading. I can listen to it sometimes, which I did today. I listened to the whole Abraham narrative while I was putting away clothes that were boxed up and packed. And I'm gonna come back to it tonight. And I've got a couple of things that I think are pretty interesting, and we'll talk about those at a later date later on today. So it's kind of late, and I just finished the first day of the shred. Got my notes written on my Post-it note. Did a little bit of ungar-holing today as well. I put a chair together, and I put a chair together while I listened to 1/3 of the readings. So today, day one of the 30-day shred, reading the Bible in 30 days, was Genesis 1 through 43. So that means you get the whole creation narrative, you get all the Noah stuff, the flood, all of that sort of thing. You start with the Abraham story, and you go up to when Jacob is meeting with his brothers. So I took the whole Abraham narrative and I listened to it while I was putting together the world's most complicated chair to put together. You're seeing footage of this right now. I've got another one of these put together, but I realized that I really need to start Project Bookshelf to begin knocking this into shape. I'm excited I can shoot in here at night, but I'm not necessarily, hold on. While you were here, let's see what that looks like. That looks worse. Let's go cold. That's not very good. Whoa, that's a lot. Let's go cold. Let's go white. Yeah, that. Thanks for hanging this out. You know, learning, building a new office out, building out a new YouTube studio, the whole 9 yards, it's complicated. So anyway, 30-day shred, day one. I'm primarily reading from the tablet, as I talked about earlier, kind of my philosophy of reading. And then the whole listening thing, some people might have a beef with the listen thing, but I like the listening idea because the whole point of doing this really is to hear the larger narrative, to catch the trees, not just the trees, but to catch the forest. So listening to the whole Abraham thing was interesting. And then I sat down and read back on my tablet again, pretty much once Abraham started having kids. But anyway, so two things I noticed about the reading today that make me think. The first one is this is relationships. I did not realize how much of Genesis really is about relationships. And it's about one person and the tension that they have with others. There's some stuff that's in there, but what I also see theologically is it's beginning to build a groundwork of things. What I'm kind of focused on right now is if you see Adam and Eve had a very, very, very close relationship with God, with the Father, walking with Him, that whole idea. And then where I'm in Jacob now is you see Jacob having dreams and Jacob having faithfulness, but Jacob not having these visionary experiences that Abraham, that Isaac, that Jacob did. So it's interesting to watch how the presence of God and the uniqueness of that relationship with his people is kind of starting to trot out here. The next thing I'm thinking about a lot after reading this today is how much this is about consequences. And this really is the story, at this point in time right now, this really is the story of one family. It's the story of their faithfulness, but it's also the stories of the consequences of their decisions. So sometimes it doesn't make sense, but I think you look at Judah and when he raped his daughter-in-law, Tamar, and had children with her. When Abraham and Isaac both said that their wives were their sisters, and those situations are incredibly complex. There's consequences to actions, and so much of this story really is about seeing and understanding these consequences. So tomorrow, not checks what the reading is. I know it's about 45 chapters a day, so I know I'm going to get really, really deep into Exodus. And I'm actually kind of bummed that I'm not hitting all of Exodus in one day, but we'll see how it works out. Tomorrow's actually a pretty busy day. But I'm enjoying this. I think that. So today was really relationships and consequences and how all of those just tend to walk and work out. So I'm Chad. If you're really cued in on this idea of these daily vlogs through the 30-day shred, make sure you say some things down in the comments. We can answer some questions, that sort of thing. But I will see you back in tomorrow's video. Until then, check you later.